you for joining us. We're going to get started in a few minutes after everyone gets all set. There's a lot of people coming in still.
So Laura, you don't have any stories to tell? Student found out they were admitted and came running into your office yelling and screaming, "Oh my God, Miss Primo, I love you."
No, not really. We've definitely had some, good news, but I don't have a story like that to tell. Maybe some of the other counselors do. I don't know. We're still waiting on a lot of news still. Be coming out soon for sure. All right. Well, it's 6:03. We've got over 50 folks here. We're just going to keep letting people in, but in the interest of time, we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody to Chaminade Counseling's College Spotlight Night. Hopefully that's what you're all here for. Thank you all for being here. And this is our new event this semester, so we're really excited to showcase, spotlight, whatever you want to call it, 6 of our college admission partners who we'll introduce very soon. But first, we're going to start out with a prayer, like with every Chaminade event. So our counselor, Janet Savolas, is going to lead us in that. Janet?
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as a pathway to peace, taking as he did the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever. Amen. Blessed William Joseph Chaminade, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
Thank you, Janet. So our Chaminade counseling team, of course, we must introduce everybody. We've got Doretha Juarez here, Janet Savolas, who just led our prayer, Daniel Johnson, Scott Borchert, Ingrid Valentine, Kaylee Bryden, and I'm Laura Cuneo. And again, thank you all for being here. When you get a chance throughout the evening, go ahead and maybe put in the chat what grade level your student is, just so we can kind of get an idea, because this is open to grades 9 through 12. So just for curiosity's sake, we'd love to hear who is all here with us this evening. But the real main event is not us. It's our 6 wonderful admission partners that I'm going to introduce now in the order of their appearance this evening. We've got Rick Diaz with Southern Methodist University. We've got Tara Crisp with Loyola University, Chicago. We've got Maria Finan with University of Notre Dame. Camille Kreitz with Syracuse University. Diana Ponce with UC Santa Barbara. And Ali Kavidra with Texas Christian University. And we're so lucky to be partnering with these wonderful people that always say yes to us. And that way you guys get their wonderful knowledge and expertise, and we all get to see each other. So without further ado, I'm gonna let all of them take the spotlight, and that's what we're here about. You're gonna hear from each of the universities. And then at the end, we're gonna have a little time for question and answer. So it can be questions about their individual institutions, or just college-related questions that you have on your mind tonight. And of course, the Chaminade counselors are here as well to answer questions. So Rick Diaz, please start us off with SMU.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rick Diaz, and I'm with Southern Methodist University. And I wish there was a way that you could start clapping for your counselors now. They are going to guide you through this amazing journey. And what you're going to discover is, as that prayer that Janet led us off with, is worrying about the things that don't worry about the things you can't change. Your counselors are going to help you figure it all out. It will be okay. If anything you get tonight, you're going to have so many different opportunities for your sons and daughters. I encourage you to find a senior parent who's going through this process right now. And the one thing they will tell you is to start early, and you are. Now, again, if you are a 7th grade parent, you're probably starting a little too early, but I definitely would recommend that you ask them those questions about what did you find out during this entire process. And so tonight, we're going to share with you a little bit about our individual institutions. And so I'm going to share my screen. And let's hope that this works. I did it before, but obviously sometimes when you do it live, it's not the same. Share screen. There it is. Share screen, click buttons, and start the presentation from the beginning. And of course, I just need somebody. Laura, can you see my screen? One time I did it and realized I was not sharing my screen.
Yes, I can see it. Looks great.
Good. Okay. Now, of course, you can see.
Thanks for the shout out.
You can see the title of what I want to share. The students and counselors at Chaminade are awesome. And I wish I could say this is what the campus really looks like right now, because it is about 20 degrees and I'm actually in Dallas and it is freezing. But it's part of what college is all about, experiencing new different environments. And so I want to take you on to the next part. And Dallas is a huge part of what SMU is all about. It's really funny when you talk to kids, at least when I was thinking about working for SMU back in 1991, when they offered me the job, I said no, because coming from Los Angeles, I had this idea of what Texas was all about. And I had some bad images in my head. And oh my goodness, I came to campus and stood on the main steps and saw this view and went, wow. I went to school in Claremont, and the surrounding area reminds me of old Claremont. It is an amazing, amazing city to be in. And that's one of the great things about, and there are 2 schools actually in the Dallas Metroplex, SMU and TCU, and we are the go-to universities in that whole area. And Los Angeles has some great universities, no question about it. That's where I went to school. But when you're looking at opportunities, we really own the city of Dallas. And it is a great opportunity for students to really spread their wings and get access to internships and jobs and food. There are more restaurants per capita in Dallas than any other city in the world. Yeah, diets are going to go out the window. And every one of the native Texans is going to try and convince you to eat Whataburger instead of In-N-Out and just saying, nope, I need my double and animal fries. But it's all about the eating and getting to know other people. But Dallas is the place that you will experience from a cultural perspective, from different neighborhoods. And actually, we get less than half our students from Texas. And the #1 area they come from is Southern California. But the student experience at SMU is more than just the cultural side of things. It's also the academics. We are a community of scholars. When students graduate, you want them to get a job. We want them out of there. So they will graduate in 4 years. If they don't, it's their fault. They decided that they convinced you that they didn't want to graduate in 4 years. But we encourage students to explore different majors and minors and have 3 majors and 2 minors. And that poor kid who didn't really know what he wanted to do when he first went to college, there's a place for that kid too, where they work with advisors to figure out what is your best path. And so when students come to SMU, they're taking classes in all the schools except for the engineering school. That's the one that most kids don't suddenly say, you know what? I like art history. I think I want to study civil engineering. It typically doesn't work like that. So out of all the schools, that's the one that is least, students don't attend classes there as frequently as the others. But Dedman College, that one with the big building with the big dome, that's our main academic center where there's advising and study abroad, and students really will use that as a focal point to figure out what the heck they want to study. Small classes, it's going to feel so much like being at Chaminade, and the professors will get to know the students and they will say, you didn't do your homework, did you? And that's kind of cool because students are really kept on their toes to be involved in this community of learners. The other thing is that because the classes are small when it comes time for graduation, the professors really help the students secure graduate work or even employment by letters of recommendation because they can remember the students in the classroom. A lot of fun going on. And kids sometimes have too much fun, if there is such a thing, because they go back into those habits of doing all-nighters, which is what I used to do a lot of, because they couldn't fit enough things to do in the 24 hours in a normal day. Our mascot is the pony, Peruna, and if you notice that it is very similar to the Ford Mustang logo, we actually own that logo. And but if you look on the Ford Mustang, it goes in the opposite direction. I don't know why they have it going backwards here. I have to ask them to fix that. But we are known as Peruna, and it's a Low Shetland pony. Other than that, all kinds of ways to get involved. Students always ask me, what do you do on campus? It's like, what do you do now? You're going to do that and then some. Working off the In-N-Out burger and all the great food. Study groups. There's a lot of community service. The Greek system is very active. About a third of the students are involved in Greek life, which is part of what students actually will be living their college experience on the first 2 years. And it's kind of like Hogwarts, but I pretend this is not being recorded, but don't say I said that. But you get put into these different, we don't have a sorting hat, but you get put into one of 11 residential commons, and that becomes your home for 2 years. They have their own traditions and mottos and mascots and parties and all kinds of themes. And students really are not excited about leaving campus after 2 years. And so many decide to actually live on campus because they do love that camaraderie that's on campus. But a number of students, like my niece who went to SMU, she majored in civil engineering, came to SMU and decided that she wanted to live off campus because she wanted a dog. She could get a car. And also because as an engineering student, she just really wanted to have that quietness and control over her more environment. But she was still very, very involved in everything. I'm pretty close to the time limit. I encourage you to visit the campus, and like any campus, you will know immediately if it's the right place for you. And if you were like me, when I stepped foot on campus the first time, I knew back in 1991, this is where I want to work, and I've been working there ever since. This past Monday, we had an on-campus event, and a couple of students from Chaminade were there, and they were just so adorable. I won't tell you who they were because I don't want to embarrass them, but they were just awesome. And you could see it in their eyes. You could just tell that they found the place that was home for them. But there are students who go, yeah, it was nice, but it wasn't for them. That's okay. That's what this whole journey is all about. And my fellow colleagues are going to share with you some great aspects about their own universities. And it won't hurt our feelings. We want you to go to the place that is right for you. But again, go Eagles. Y'all are awesome. And without further ado, I want to introduce my amazing colleague from the Loyola. I can't speak tonight. Loyola University of Chicago. Take it away, Miss.
Awesome. Thank you, Rick. I love the addition of the intro. Hi, everyone. My name is Tara Crisp. I am the Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at Loyola University, Chicago. And I am a regional representative, so I do live and work remotely in Southern California, working primarily with students coming from the West Coast, and we do get a lot. We do also have a few Chaminade students on our campus, so hopefully somebody you can relate to and talk to. Let's go ahead and get started. Oh, my presentation is frozen. There it goes. Okay, so let's start here with our students. So we are the largest Jesuit college in the country. So we have about 17,000 students. 12,000 of those are going to be undergraduate. So we're what you consider a mid-sized university. I actually think it's a really nice size because you have all of the academic and social resources of a larger school, but you still get those like small class sizes and those close-knit communities that a lot of people are looking for. You can see here on this slide that we are pretty diverse. So we have students coming from 50 states, over 121 different countries. 46% of our students are students of color, and we really strive to be a home of all faiths, really embodying those Jesuit values. And if you're not familiar with Jesuit schools, we're really going to be focused on educating the whole person, really making sure that our students are thriving mind, body, and spirit. We're going to be really big on global awareness, service, and being a person for others. So lots of community service opportunities. And yeah, whatever you decide to major in at Loyola, you're going to have the opportunity to serve others, learn about social justice issues. We really believe in students to equip them to be ready for the workforce. Obviously, that's higher education's purpose, but we also really want our students to be ready to give back to their community. And as cheesy as it sounds, we want them to go out and make the world a better place. So speaking a little bit more about our campuses, we have 2 campuses in the city of Chicago. The top 2 pictures that you see here are of our Lakeshore campus. We don't get too creative with our names. We are right on the shores of Lake Michigan. It is about a 40-acre campus, very quintessential college. I think it's great because you get that very traditional college environment. We have a 2-year residency requirement. You get to live on campus, but this campus is only 8 miles north from downtown Chicago. So you could be downtown in 15 minutes. And then at the bottom, those are a picture of our downtown campus. We call it our Water Tower campus. It's right next to the Water Tower Place, right off of Michigan Avenue, if you're familiar with Chicago. And this is going to be home to students that are studying in our School of Business, School of Communication, Social Work, Law School. And again, like these 2 campuses really represent the best of both worlds. We have that traditional residential campus combined with a more kind of urban, fast-paced metropolitan one. So a little bit more about Chicago, since maybe not everybody has visited this lovely city, but it's the 3rd largest city in the country. It's about the same size as New York, but we have less people. We have 3 million people. And the cool part is about 180,000 of those people are going to be Loyola Chicago alumni. So you can say we kind of roll deep in the city, which is a great networking opportunity for prospective students. There's 36 Fortune 500 companies, 90 different global trade organizations. So lots of opportunities for jobs and internships and things like that. But Chicago isn't just a place for work experience. It's an awesome city for fun and entertainment. And, what we do as a university is we really want to make sure our students experience the best of the city. So we get discounted tickets to sporting events like Cubs games and music festivals like Lollapalooza, and I'm trying to think of some other ones. Like shows. You get to go see like Hamilton or something like that. So we really consider Chicago as like a giant classroom for our students. And that leads perfectly into my next point. So speaking of classrooms, I wanted to switch gears just a little bit and talk about our programs. We have over 80 different majors and minors. We have 55 5-year dual degree programs. So what that means is that you can stay for 1 extra year and get your master's degree done. So in 5 years, you'd be done with your undergrad and your graduate degree, which is pretty cool. Some programs that we're most known for are health sciences. So we do have a direct entry nursing program. Our School of Business is actually the #1 undergraduate business program in the city of Chicago. We have an excellent School of Communications, and we have an entire School of Environmental Sustainability, which is really cool. We're actually, always ranked one of the top most environmentally friendly campuses in the country. Having that school really helps. Outside of the classroom, our students are very active and busy. We have over 250 different clubs and organizations, ranging from Greek life to Division I sports to intramural sports. About 1 in 3 of all of our students do go study abroad. That's a big part of our culture, as we really want our students to understand other cultures. And we have our own campus in Rome, Italy, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And we offer study abroad opportunities in over 90 different countries. So whatever you're interested in, we can get you there. And we try to make it as affordable and as accessible for all of our students. As you can see here, also, we are we're continuously recognized for service and engagement. We've got an incredible success rate. 98% of our students are either employed or in grad school within 3 months of graduating. So lots of ways to get a job and make money. This is some information about our application. I know it's early, especially for some of you that put in the chat that you have a 10th grader, but just know that our application is free, which is great. You can save that, $75, put it toward your winter coat that you'll need in Chicago. We're rolling admissions, so that means we read applications upon completion. We are test optional, and we do have one deadline. It's December 1st, and that gets you priority consideration for admission and for scholarships. And you want to hit that deadline because 98% of our students are getting some sort of scholarship, with the average package being about $29,000 a year, which has put us on the list of schools for best value. I know the parents' ears are perking up on that one. And that was by the U.S. News and World Report. So that's my time. This is my information. I will also put my information in the chat. You're welcome to reach out to me. I am the person who reads all the applications from your school, and I'm happy to help you out. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Tara. And I think we have Maria up next.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm just going to share this with you all. So a little bit about me. My name's Maria Finan. I'm one of the assistant directors in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions at Notre Dame. I'm also a Notre Dame graduate myself. I'm actually what we call a double domer. So I not only received my bachelor's degree at Notre Dame, but I stayed for my master's degree as well. Did move away for a few years, but came back. I'm one of the counselors on our Western team, so really have loved working with students kind of from the West Coast. This is my 4th year in the office, so had a lot of great experience doing that. If you're not super familiar with Notre Dame, we are located in Northern Indiana in South Bend. We are specifically an undergraduate-focused university. We have about 8,500 total undergraduate students and only about another 4,500 grad students. We have students from all 50 states and around the world. We have a really beautiful residential campus. Things that make us unique are that we are a great research university, but we're also a Catholic university that really prizes ourselves on community and service. We were founded in 1842 by Father Sorin, and when he founded the University of Notre Dame, one of his visions was that the university would be a great force for doing good in the world. So that mission, which was integral to Notre Dame's founding, is also something that's really important to our philosophy of education. So students, of course, get an excellent education in the classroom, but we also are really focused on that personal development piece and how students use their educations to go out and better society. Our community, I think, is one of the hallmarks of the Notre Dame experience. We have 32 different residence halls on campus. Those are all single sex, but mixed major, mixed year. We randomly place students in them as first-year students, and most students will actually opt to remain in the same residence hall as long as they live on campus. The housing is guaranteed for all 4 years. At any given time, we've got approximately 80% of our students living on campus. The dorms have their own unique attributes, so they all have mascots and colors and special events. And we find that it's really beneficial for students to get to know students from across different majors and also learning from upperclassmen, whether that's just kind of the personal connections or having someone to kind of guide them through the academic pieces and navigating the college experience. Faith life is something else that's really important at Notre Dame. So I mentioned that we are a Catholic university. Students don't have to be Catholic to go to Notre Dame, but I think kind of that faith piece can often add a lot to the Notre Dame experience. Approximately 80% of our students are Catholic, but we welcome students from all different faith backgrounds. And there's a lot of different ways for students to engage with faith life on campus, whether it's attending dorm mass, joining a club that's related to faith, or getting involved with campus ministry. We're also really proud of the extent that our students get involved with service. So approximately 80% of our students will do service at some point before they graduate. Many of the residence halls provide a lot of opportunities for students to do that with organizations that they partner with in South Bend. Students also often like to do service over breaks, whether that's fall or spring break or some more sustained opportunities over summer break. Service often will take our students kind of across the country, but also around the world. Approximately 75% of our students study abroad before graduating. That does, of course, kind of depend upon a global pandemic or not, but we've been really excited to have students studying abroad again. We often have students who go for a semester during their junior year, but there are opportunities for students to sometimes do year-long programs. We have some unique domestic options as well. So Silicon Valley is one of our more popular programs. For example, with our engineers, DC is very popular with students who are interested in politics, policymaking, law, things like that. With summer opportunities and also plenty of funding for grants and research. So we are undergraduate focused, which means that a lot of our students are engaged in undergraduate research or potentially getting involved with things like internships and other experiential learning. Something that I think we can't understate is the amazing Notre Dame alumni network. We have approximately 230 alumni clubs domestically and another 40 internationally. So I always tell students almost any city you wind up in will probably have a Notre Dame alumni club. They do a great job kind of initially welcoming students to the Notre Dame family, but they also are really great when it comes to looking for those internship opportunities that are maybe closer to home over the summer or perhaps coming back after graduation. California usually sends us either our largest number of students or second largest number of students and is one of our most popular post-grad destinations. We have a unique Notre Dame California office that works throughout the state to build and maintain really strong partnerships with employers in California specifically, and there's also a California club on campus, so students have a lot of opportunities to really kind of network with each other and the amazing network. And that's something that I think is a really great resource for students. Within 6 months of graduation, 98% of all of our students have found their next step, whether that's full-time employment, graduate school, going into the military, or doing full-time service. So those amazing opportunities that students are having while they're on campus do translate to success after graduation as well. And I'm going to leave that there for now, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. I will also share out the email, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can welcome my colleague from Syracuse.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. See if I can get this going. Okay, there we go. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Camille Kreitz, and I'm the Associate Director of Admissions for Syracuse University, which is a mid-sized university based in central New York State. We're about 5 hours north of New York City and about 5 hours west of Boston. The campus is a residential campus, so students are required to live on campus their first 2 years, and then they have the option to live on or off campus their junior or their senior year. The campus itself is about 10 minutes outside of downtown Syracuse, and the city of Syracuse is a city. It's not just a little college town. It's a small city. It kind of reminds me of the downtown San Diego area size-wise. We have an airport about 10 minutes from campus and very easy to get in and out of. From Southern California, you can get to Syracuse with one connection. You can also fly through, New York City. You can fly through any of the big Midwest cities, even as far west as Denver, have direct flights into Syracuse. I mentioned that we're a mid-sized university, so we have a little under 15,000 undergraduate students, but our average class size is about 26 with a student-to-teacher ratio of 15 to 1. So while we do feel like a larger university because of the Division I sports and because of the activities that are going on campus, we also have that small school feel when you're in your classroom space. So I do want to talk a little bit about our academics. We have over 200 majors and 100 minors, and those are divided up into 10 different colleges. So when students apply, they apply directly to one of the colleges, and then many of the colleges, the ones here with the asterisks, you can apply to those undecided. So students can apply undecided. They can change their major, they can pick up a double major or a minor, and students have the opportunity to study in different colleges. So we have a lot of interdisciplinary study happening on campus. So we have students that are majoring in engineering, but they're minoring in music, or they're minoring in French, or they're minoring in physics. I mean, there's lots and lots of different opportunities. And you can see on the right some of our rankings as far as some of our most top ranked programs. But just to run through really quickly, our School of Architecture is a 5-year professional degree program. The College of Arts and Sciences and Maxwell, those encompass a lot of our pre-law and our pre-health programs. We do have some accelerated law and medical school programs as well, and physical therapy. School of Education, engineering, we've got 10 different majors in the College of Engineering. We're a top school for sport management and the top school for sports analytics, all kinds of data analytics and cybersecurity things going on in information studies, business. Public communications is our journalism school, which we're probably most known for, and then visual and performing arts is everything from painting to film to music or theater. Those are all BFA programs, and they are portfolio or audition based within the College of Visual and Performing Arts. So there's a lot happening on campus academically. We also are a Tier 1 research institute, so students that want to get involved in research have the opportunity to do so. We have a top 10 study abroad program. We have currently 5 of our own study abroad programs that are open right now abroad. And then we partner with local universities in over 60 different countries. So at least half of our students are studying abroad, and you can study abroad from as early as your freshman year through what we call our discovery programs on up to senior year. We have semester programs, summer programs, short-term programs. So there's lots and lots of formulas for students to be able to study abroad as well. What does it mean to be orange? We have students from all 50 states. California does make up our largest, our 4th largest population on campus, and our California alumni are second only to New York State. So we have a big network out here. When students are looking for those internships, perhaps when they're coming home for the summer, or if you move back to California after you graduate, we have those connections. We also have a career services officer in our office in Sherman Oaks. So I forgot to mention, I'm very local. I'm here in the San Fernando Valley. But we do have a career service office in Sherman Oaks, and they are there specifically to help Syracuse alumni find internships and find jobs. So once you graduate, if you move back to California, we have somebody out here that is here for life. As long as you're a Syracuse alum, you have somebody to help you, even if you're mid-career and want to change your whole career. We have over 300 clubs and organizations on campus. I mentioned Division I athletics, but we also have club and intramural sports, all kinds of community service opportunities, all kinds of different performance opportunities. So if you want to do a cappella or stand-up comedy, obviously all of those things are there. Our Barnes Center is our health and wellness center, where we have our health center, we have our counseling center, and then 5 stories of athletic facilities. And then Shine Center is where we have, again, right in the middle of campus is where we have our store, our food court. So lots of different dining options on campus. Besides the dining halls themselves, we have cafes and then our whole entire food court on campus as well. So finally, just quickly, some nuts and bolts. We do have early decision and regular decision, and we are on the Common App. We will be joining the Coalition app this year as well. We do not yet know, we haven't decided if we're going to be test optional for next year, but hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll make that decision. We do offer personal interviews, and we'll start those for rising seniors in the summer before senior year. And hopefully we'll be able to start to do some in-person ones, but definitely we'll do them virtually for sure. And then even though we're a private university, we end up being very competitive with California public schools. So we do offer a lot of merit scholarships and need-based scholarships. So I'm going to drop some of my information and a link for tonight's event into the chat. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And I'm going to pass it off to my colleague.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Camille, for passing it off. I'm going to share my screen. Perfect. Are you guys able to see that okay? I'm assuming yes.
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 Yes. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and get started. So hello, everyone. My name is Diana, and I'm a freshman admissions counselor here at UCSB, and I'm also an alum class of 2021. So notably, I have the perspective of both a former student and staff. So I'm excited to talk to you all about what makes UCSB so special and a home to many. Today, we'll be going over the beautiful location of our school, academics, and student life. I won't be touching on admissions or eligibility requirements in huge depth, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask them during the Q&A portion, or you can email us at ucsbforme@sa.ucsb.edu, and I will include this email at the end of the presentation as well. But let's go into this brief overview of UCSB. So UCSB is a research university that is part of a larger University of California system. We are a prestigious university that is known for our production of new knowledge and excellent academic and career preparation. Students get to learn from professors who are true experts in their fields, and in fact, we are home to 6 Nobel laureate professors, a number that we are very proud of. Our campus has also been ranked as the 5th best public university in the entire country, demonstrating that we prioritize and take pride in our academic accomplishment. However, what really distinguishes us as a campus besides our campus ranking is our oceanside location. UCSB is located on the coastline, making it super easy for our students to relax on the sand in between classes and watch a beautiful beach sunset after a long day of school, which is definitely necessary. We are ranked as the #1 public university for happiest students in California, and I think this can be attributed to our beautiful weather and scenery, but also our encouragement of proper work-life balance. This work hard, play hard motto is really epitomized by the fact that over half of our undergraduate students are involved in research and over 2/3 are involved in internships by the time of graduation. We work hard in and out of the classroom, take advantage of our resources, and seek advice from our mentors so that we can enjoy some proper rest and recovery when not studying. To help our students succeed, we offer some really great resources. Through our Campus Learning Assistance Services program, we offer free tutoring for all students in subjects like math, science, and writing. Through our Career Services Center, we help our students find jobs and internships. And through our Educational Opportunity Program, we provide additional mentorship and advising for our first-generation students. These are just a few of the resources that help our students navigate college and prepare for the workforce. When it comes to colleges, UCSB has 90 different majors across 3 different colleges. The colleges include the College of Letters and Science, the College of Engineering, and the College of Creative Studies. You can think of the colleges as branches within UCSB that hold different majors and academic programs. First, I'll describe the College of Letters and Science. The College of Letters and Science holds most of the majors that can be found at UCSB, including anything from sociology to art, to music, to physics. If you're unsure of what you want to major in, that is okay. We do have an undeclared major for our freshman applicants, and selecting it will not affect your chances of admission. I think that's really important to point out because that's a common question that I get. Will applying undeclared affect my chances of admission? The answer is no. In general, any major you choose within the College of Letters and Science will not affect your chances of admission because this college does not admit by major. So if you're very passionate about 2 different subjects as well, you can add a double major or a minor in this college once you're a student. We also have a college that's specifically for engineering majors, and this is the College of Engineering. The 5 majors offered are chemical, computer, electrical, and mechanical engineering, as well as computer science. The College of Engineering is relatively small with about 1,500 students and a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. This will give you the opportunity to create a connection with your professors and receive more personalized educational support. It also offers a Bachelor of Science to Master of Science program. So you could get a master's in 5 years if you are coming in as a freshman, or in 3 years if you are coming in as a transfer. Lastly, we have the College of Creative Studies. This is our smallest college with 400 students across 8 different majors. This college is a bit misleading because of the name, but contrary to what it sounds like, this college offers majors like music composition and art, but it also offers majors like math, biology, and computing. What really sets this college apart is its focus on independent study and the creation of new knowledge under the mentorship of a professor. This is a great option if you are very passionate about a specific subject and you know that you want to do research early on in your academic career. To further support our students' academic and career goals, we offer pre-professional programs in health and law. These are essentially programs that provide additional advising, mentorship, and job or internship leads to our students. For those of you interested in going into law, veterinary medicine, nursing, health, etc., I recommend that you check out these programs once you're a student on our campus. However, UCSB is more than just a school, it is also a home to our students. UCSB is a residential campus, which means that over 80% of our students live either on or within a mile of campus. This tight-knit community creates the feeling that students don't just go to school here, but that their lives are here as well. If you want to go see your friends, walk to them. It's seriously that easy. If not, you already live with them, so that's another perk of living so close to your school. We have 8 residence halls as well. 5 of them are oceanfront properties and 6 apartment complexes. So there are housing options for incoming freshmen as well as incoming transfer students. Our residence halls also have what we call living learning communities, or LLCs. These are essentially themed living areas that provide a unique sense of community for students who share similar interests or identities. Members can explore the community's theme through programming and mentorship. A few examples of living learning communities include the Black Scholars, Chicanx Latinx, and Rainbow House communities. What other ways can you get that college experience that you're seeking? The perfect way to get involved is to participate in campus organizations. We do have more than 500 organizations on our campus. This includes Greek life, where there are multicultural, Pan-Hellenic, and professional options, as well as clubs and other organizations like the Latino Business Association, or the Excursion Club, where you can go hiking, camping, kayaking, and do other outdoor activities with fellow students. Are you looking to be part of a sport? We offer intramural and club level sports for those of you who want to be part of a team and engage in some friendly competition. We also have intercollegiate sports featuring 19 NCAA Division I teams. However, you don't need to be part of a sport to enjoy a sport. Soccer and basketball games are only 2 of many popular events that our students love to attend on campus. And best of all, most of these games are free with a student ID. If you're not interested in organized athletics though, our Department of Recreation has our Recreation Center, which includes our multi-activity court, swimming pools, a rock climbing wall, and more. But please visit the Department of Recreation website to learn more about what they have to offer. In addition to sports and organizations, we have school-hosted events like concerts that take place throughout the school year. The largest events UCSB hosts are likely our Welcome Week concerts, Delirium and Extravaganza, where famous artists like Billie Eilish, Drake, YG, and Snoop Dogg have performed in the past. As you can see, UCSB is a perfect blend between academics and student life, and once you're a gaucho for life. All right, that is it for today's short presentation. Listed on the screen are a few of our resources that may be useful to you. There's a link to our financial aid page where you can find an estimate of your cost of attendance, the link to our undergraduate majors page, and more, but I'll drop these links in the chat in a bit as well. And lastly, please stay connected with us. Again, that email is ucsb.ucsb.edu. And here you can connect directly with your admissions counselor. We'll be hosting some events in the future as well on the PIQs and the UC application. So go ahead and register for those through our admissions website. But that's all I have for today. So thank you all so much for listening. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to Ali at TCU.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good night so far. All right. Well, my name is Ali Khadija, and I am with Texas Christian University, also known as TCU. Now, if you don't know much about TCU, probably the least you know, we're located in the great state of Texas. And we're actually located in the 12th largest city in the US called Fort Worth. Fort Worth is right next to Dallas, and Dallas and Fort Worth make up the fourth largest metroplex in the entire country. So if you're kind of used to the resources and ability to, have a lot of fun and a lot of different things to go do on the weekends and evenings of Los Angeles, you're going to get the same in Texas, living in Fort Worth, with just a little bit different of an experience. For example, maybe you go to Billy Bob's, the world's largest honky tonk, and learn how to two-step or line dance. That is located in Fort Worth. Always a great excuse to have cowboy boots. Never a costume, always a fashion statement. We have some great food. If you want to try Tex-Mex, maybe some good barbecue food. I definitely, when people visit Fort Worth, they always talk about the food. So definitely a good scene for food. So part of being a TCU student is the city that we live in, and we love that we are a part of the Fort Worth community. So kind of a brief snapshot on TCU, we consider ourselves to be more of a medium-sized school. We have about 9,700 undergraduates and about 1,500 graduate students. So most of our students are undergraduates, but we do have a graduate school, and we actually have a medical school that opened a couple years ago as well. 13-to-1 student-to-professor ratio, you should expect your classes to be about 26 students. Now, because we're more of a medium-sized school, we actually don't have any of those large classes that you might hear at other universities. A really big class at TCU, you're looking at 45 students. And for most colleges, if 45 students is their big class, that would be pretty rare. We don't have any classes that can even seat over 100 students. Some of the things that are nice about TCU as well, coming as a student from California, you will not be the only person. About 20% of our students are from the great state of California, and really about 50% of our students overall are from outside of Texas. So we do have a lot of students that are outside of Texas, so you're going to get that Texas feel, but also have classmates from all across the world and all states represented. So you're going to get lots of different perspectives in your classroom environment. When it comes to academics, we have over 100 majors available. We're most well known for our Neely School of Business. So think of majors like entrepreneurship, accounting, finance, business management and leadership, value and supply chain management. That's a really hot major right now with the times we find ourselves in, but this is just a sampling of some of our business majors. We also have a really strong communications. Our Bob Schieffer College of Communications has like film and television, broadcast journalism, sports broadcasting, strategic communications, communication studies. We have a great fine arts department, interior design, graphic design, fashion merchandising. If you're looking at musical theater, we're considered in the top 10 musical theater programs in the country. We have a great dance program with modern and ballet, as well as an outstanding music program. Any student that wants to join our marching band, we actually pay you $3,000 to be in the marching band, and you don't even have to audition. So lots of things you can do academically at TCU. Of course, we were founded as a liberal arts school, so we have tons of liberal arts majors. We have things in the health sciences, pre-health with that medical school, engineering as well. So the list goes on and on when it comes to the programs we offer. While we might be considered more of a smaller school when you're looking at the athletic conference we're in, the Big 12 Athletic Conference, we are the smallest school in it. And we think that we have big resources. We have over a $1.9 billion endowment. Over 80% of our students will do at least one internship before they graduate. So we really much preach students doing internships. And in fact, many of our majors require it, which is awesome. That means we're going to help you out. And being in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there are plenty of internships locally, but we also have a lot of companies that can quickly fly in for our different career and internship fairs that we have. So if you're looking at wanting to do an internship outside of Dallas and Fort Worth, that's absolutely doable as well. When it comes to being in the Big 12 Athletic Conference, we take a lot of pride in that, and we think we do pretty well in most sports. So football games are obviously a lot of fun in the great state of Texas. Basketball, we usually do pretty well in. Baseball, we've gone to the College World Series 6 of the last 10 years. We have a great women's equestrian program. They have won the national championship. We also have a women's rifle team that's won the national championship. Volleyball is really popular. And all of those sports are free for you to attend as a TCU student, even all of our rivalry games. 50% of our students are involved in Greek life, so in fraternities and sororities, so that is quite popular when you start looking at schools in Texas in the South. And then we also have a lot of students that enjoy a religious aspect at TCU. We do not require students to be of any one religious faith, and in fact, we have most of our students are Roman Catholic. That's what they identify as. We do have church services available on campus. We also have religious student clubs that students can join, but none of that is required. The only required religious aspect of TCU is that you take one religion class to graduate. And of course, you're welcome to take more if you want to minor or major in religion or just want to take the classes for fun too. And last but not least, when it comes to admission at TCU, we have about a 40% acceptance rate. So definitely we still are a school that is accessible to many students that are applying. And we do have a lot of students from the California area that do enjoy coming to TCU. We have a holistic admissions process, which means we look at all aspects of a student's application, not just grades and test scores, but we're looking at rigor of curriculum. We definitely take into account that at Chaminade, you guys are taking some hard classes just in your general classes without them being the advanced courses. So we take that into account as well. We are test optional. We have a do no harm policy, which means if you want to submit the test score, you can. But if it's a test score that doesn't help you, we're not going to use it. We're only going to use a test score if it helps you. And if you choose not to take a test or send us a test score, that's okay as well. We love students that are involved, students that are active in their community, leadership, and those are all things we strive for in students at TCU because that usually translates, if you're doing it in high school, things that you're going to do in college as well. So that is a brief snapshot of TCU. Again, my name is Ali Khadidra. If questions arise, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is on the website. But now it is Q&A time, so I'm going to take it back to the counselors who are going to start us off with the Q&A. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Allie. Thank you to everyone. Great information and a great spotlight. Truly, definitely. So hopefully you guys all got some great information, parents and students out there. We do want to be respectful of time, but I think we have some time for some questions. So I know a couple of the reps did talk about their testing policy. I know that's a question that comes up a lot. So if maybe those of you who didn't chime in about your policy moving forward, since we have mostly 9th through 11th grade here this evening, if you could just let us know what your school's plans are. Are you test optional? Are you bringing tests back? What's your overall policy, just to give everyone a snapshot of that?
I can hop in on this one since I didn't mention it. So Notre Dame is currently test optional. We know we'll be test optional for at least our juniors, and we expect to have a decision soon for underclassmen. So just emphasizing the optional piece, if it strengthens the student's application, they can submit it. If they don't feel like it will, absolutely no pressure to submit a test score for us.
I didn't mention it either. SMU is currently test optional, and we are deciding about next year. But I want to reassure you that I'm in the admissions committee right now, and we don't sit around thinking, oh my gosh, Luke didn't send his scores. I bet it was really bad or really good. We don't make any judgment whatsoever. You didn't send your scores, you didn't send your scores. And so we know there are a lot of reasons why. And I love what Ali said, do no harm. We want to advantage you through this entire process. If you send your scores, if they're not good, we'll find a way to help resolve that. Anyway.
One thing I'd like to add on, obviously, I did mention that we were test optional at TCU, and that's for juniors. So sophomores or freshmen, while I know it might be frustrating to be like, I want to plan ahead, and I don't know if this school's going to be test optional because they've only announced it for the next year. A lot of that you have to realize that decision is so above us, even in the admissions office. A lot of times it's if we have like a board of trustees or a board of regents or whatever the college calls it, it's usually in their hands, and they're waiting on data from like this current year or the last couple of years to be able to decide that. So give college admissions offices some grace when they're deciding on these, because a lot of times it's out of our hands. But I will tell you that most college admissions offices, we have loved being test optional, because it truly does give an advantage to you as a student to decide if that's something that's going to reflect well of you or not, because we do understand that some students, those tests are just not reflective of your academic abilities at all.
There's a good question in the chat for all of you or any of you. A parent is asking, if a student has a very particular interest in a college, what's a really good time for them to show that interest, to reach out to you, maybe to try to make a connection or a tour or something like that?
I'll chime in on that one. I would say as early as possible in high school. We'll be reasonable and not say when they're in the 8th grade, but definitely, once they're in high school, they can start reaching out to us. They can, and if they're in the area, they can do a campus visit. They can reach out to us if we're local, any of the local reps. Get online and find out who your representative is for your territory. But I would just say, once you're in high school, if you know there's some place that you're really interested in, reach out to us and start making those connections.
Thank you.
But I also want to give a slightly tempered perspective to that. We don't have a certain formula that says, oh, you called us 5 times, emailed us 7 times, you showed up at our doorstep 9 times. And so giving the algorithm, you're an admit. So make them meaningful connections. I once told a student to reach out to me. She emailed me once a week to tell me how her life was going. I had to create a special spam folder just for her. It didn't help in the admission process. I learned more about what her prom dress was going to be and why she didn't like the boy that she was going with. TMI. And students, you are the owners of this process. Parents, we know you want to be involved, but all of my colleagues will agree we can tell when a parent wrote the email, because number one, you double space after the period. They don't teach that anymore. That's one clue. Number two is your life issues are so much different than your kids. And they will be perfectly okay making, as Camille said, making those meaningful conversations when they're on campus, and don't feel like you have to do something just because if I don't, I won't get in. No, we look a little deeper than that.
I would also encourage students and families to find out whether or not schools track demonstrated interest. So for example, Notre Dame does not. So contacting us with questions is strictly for the benefit of students and the information we can provide. Advice I would give is, if you're looking to learn more about a university, I think signing up for email lists is a really great way to do that, to be notified of events and things that are happening. For students, I think following along on social media also can be kind of a more authentic look into campus if you're not necessarily able to come visit, which students tend to do either junior year, senior year, or maybe after being admitted.
And I'm going to piggyback right back on Maria. That was awesome. That is so true. But do your homework. If you send me an email asking me where we're located, I'm going to go like, really? Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're not in Nevada. We're the other Dallas, Texas. Or do you have a psychology department? Or when I visit campus, what can I do? I don't know. Go to the bookstore, eat food. We're not concierge. We want you to take ownership of this and do your homework. And guess what? I bet you if you went to every one of our websites, you will see a link that says what to do when you're in the neighborhood. Here's information about our psychology program. Here's how I can connect with my admission counselors. Click on California, type in Chaminade, and our face appears. Sending a general email, it very quickly goes into my dead letter email. I will answer in the fullness of I have no time.
Okay, and then
sorry, Laura, go ahead.
No, go.
All I was gonna say is just the silver lining to the pandemic is a lot of schools now have really wonderful virtual opportunities for you to connect, because I know a lot of these schools that we're talking about today are out of state. So take advantage of some of those, because they weren't always like that before. Like, our virtual tours have gotten a lot better. We're doing a lot more online presentations or online student panels. So, you don't necessarily have to be on campus to start making those connections and doing your due diligence and doing your own research. So yeah, that was just my last little piece to add to that.
Perfect, thank you. And I did see in the chat that popped up, Diana from UCSB just added her her response to the testing question, that the UCs are test blind, so they don't require testing. Well, let's see. There's one more quick question maybe, because it's just now 7 o'clock. A lot of questions we get often from the 9th and 10th grade families are, what extracurricular activities should we do so we get into college? So maybe a quick answer from you guys who are here, and how do you respond to that? What advice do you have for students?
Peruvian womb weaving. I'm just kidding. There is no magic list. I mean, there is no thing. Don't get interested in something just because you think it's going to get you into college. No, do something that you enjoy. There's no magic checklist. I'm sorry, Maria. I don't.
I would just echo whatever students are passionate about, and being very broad about that, keeping in mind like service counts. If students have long commutes, that can be important information for us. Family responsibilities, clubs, extracurriculars, music, hobbies can even be really helpful. So students should do what they enjoy. I think the best apps to read are the ones that are authentic and the ones where students really share what they're passionate about. So that's absolutely how students should spend their time.
I will add that I've noticed in the last couple of years more students asking and concerns about involvement, and I think a lot of that stems from the pandemic and having some more limited limitations, especially I think of like nursing applicants who haven't had the ability in Los Angeles to volunteer at a healthcare facility because volunteers aren't allowed. And so there are regional specific things that are very different for people in LA or on the West Coast that are different than, let's say, in Texas. And so do know that at least at a school like TCU, that is something that we take into account. We are trained when we read applications and to know about your schools, know about your region, and know about what restrictions you've had. And so maybe you had, like the beginning of high school, if you're, maybe a junior right now, you didn't have as much access because, you were in virtual classes. We're aware of that. And so we're not going to count you down for that. Would we love to see you get involved once your classes are in person? Absolutely, if that's something of interest to you. And for me, it's not about a laundry list of things you're involved in. Have a couple things maybe that are things you've done over a couple years that show that you just have an interest for it. So instead of, let's say, one-time volunteering at an equine therapeutic center, and another time volunteering at a homeless center, and another time making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for a shelter. If one of those you're most interested in, maybe do that one volunteer thing multiple times, because that shows that you just have an interest or dedication in like that type of service or that type of activity, if that makes sense.
And then I'd quickly like to add that similar to the other colleges, at UCSB, we do not have a preference for the type of activities or involvements that you choose to partake in. We do consider commitment, progression, and leadership though, and these characteristics are important to us. So kind of like they were saying, if you've been involved in an activity for a longer period of time, if maybe you've had a leadership role, or if maybe you've moved up and taken on some sort of responsibility, these things will be taken into consideration when making an admissions decision. I'd also like to add that if you weren't able to be as involved as you would have liked because of the pandemic or for any other reasons, you can write that down in the application in the PIQ section, the activities and involvement section, or even in the additional comments section. because we do consider the student's individual context. So it's very important for you to fill out the application to the best of your ability and let us know within that application.
Great. Would anyone like to add anything else to that? Let's see if we have anything else in the chat too. Well, looks like it. Okay, well, don't want to keep anybody too long. We know it's already 7:05. So thank you guys for answering those questions, and parents and students for being here this evening. We really appreciate it. And we're so happy to have all of you here, and just happy to be offering these options for students to learn more about schools. So keep an eye out for more events from us. And of course, for our awesome admission partners, round of applause. We are so appreciative of you. And hopefully you guys, some of you or all of you will be on our campus soon. Okay, and I know for everyone who's still on, there are a lot of there's a lot of great information in the chat from the reps. So please check out, there's some links, there's contact information. So please check out the chat before you log off tonight. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Keep warm, be safe.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night. Thanks, everyone.